Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Sunland Park here on Sunday. It is the 16th of February, 2025. It's Sunland Derby Day, and I'm going to look at the Sunland Derby and all the other stakes races on the program. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Let's look at the stakes action from Sunland races 5 through 9. The fifth race, it is the Red Henson Handicap. It's going for a purse of $100,000. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6 horses going a lap around the main track, which is 1,600 meters in circumference, or a mile, all on the Sunland main track. My top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse, Don't Bring Crazy. I'm going to go 4135 in the superfecta. 4135 super, top selection of 4 horse, Don't Bring Crazy. This 4-year-old followed by Maximum Mischief. Doug O'Neill trains. Rafael Bejarano gets the mount. They ran the horse sprinting most recently in the Las Flores at Santa Anita, 6 furlongs on the 4th of January, and it was a success for this horse. Near success, finished third by 3 3/4 lengths that day. And she was with them early on, seeing some wicked fractions on the front end, just yielded before the wire. I don't think the sprinting trip is what this horse wants. He wants to ride like he did two back. Coming here today, not the world's toughest horse is getting Bejarano up. I think he can find a trip to win. He ran terrifically in the Glendale Overnight Stakes at Turf Paradise, a mile on the 12th of December. First time stretching out in about a year and a half. He won by 2 1/4 lengths, and everything is all the way on the front end. He quickened up nicely. With the 74 buyer, I thought that was a very good effort. Prior to that, he ran at Del Mar 6.5 in November and Option 40, where he finished second by 5 1/4 lengths, where, he couldn't catch the winner, but he got down the race course well. Not a bad race in the feet. Back to a longer trip, getting Bejarano up, like I said many times. I think this horse could really find the winner's circle. I think the one horse Valence for Ramos could win also. He ran most recently against tough competition in the American Oaks at Santa Anita, a mile and a quarter on the day after Christmas, and he finished 7th by 12 1/4 lengths that day. He set the pace early on from wide post draw, but then just completely crumbled. Just got outclassed by the others. He ran two back in the Zia Park Oaks over the mile 16th at Zia right before Thanksgiving, and he won by 4 lengths on the front, and he took off clear driving, back to dirt, back to a good circuit where he could really find a good race. He could win. Let's use him in the pick 5. That begins with this race. But to recap my selection for the 5th from Sunland, it is Harry Henson Handicap. Going to take the 4 horse, Don't Bring Crazy. Give kudos to the 1 horse Valence. 4135 Super, 4-1 in the multi-race. The 6th event now from Sunland, it is the Red Hedeman Mile. It's going for a purse of $90,000, race for 3-year-olds here, New Mexico breds. 8 horses going a lap around the main track, which is 1,600 meters or a mile on the main track. Gotta take the 5 horse stand-up guy as a top selection. 5-3-2-6 in the superfecta. 5-3-2-6 super. Top selection of 5 horse stand-up guy. 3-year-old gelding by American Anthem. Todd Fincher trains, gets Ramos up in the saddle. He ran most recently a step-bred handicap over the 6 furlongs on the 16th of January, where he finished second by a length that day, and he was very wide. Keep in mind, Holy Hank was disqualified that day. The winner was running back in this one because of some drifting in the lane. They placed him actually third. They placed this horse up to second that day, from second to first. I thought it was the right call. This horse, he did run his Howard out. I think coming back to a routing trip, which he's proven he can run a good race with, I think he's going to find a trip to the winner's circle first. 2 back in the Hobbs Fall Classic at Zia, mile 70 on the 17th of December. He finished 4th by 4 3/4 lengths that day. And again, a bit of a wide trip. He was gaining a little bit late. Not a bad race there. And then in the New Mexico Classic Juvenile at Zia over the 6, he finished 3rd by 4 3/4 lengths that day. Not the best beginnings, and just never really got going from the inside. Coming to a routing trip, trading well locally. I like that they've given him a 6 furlong workout since the last race. I think he can find the winner circle. 3 hours, he's a genius. I think can win also for Dallas Barton and Fuentes. He hasn't won since debut at Albuquerque, going 5 back in August, where he won going away by a neck. A very good run. Came back to run after that in an allowance trial at non-conditional allowance race at Albuquerque over the 6 in September, where he finished 3rd by 4 1/4 lengths. Where again, just won that longer trip, but he got down the race course well. I think another horse drawn very well back to a longer trip, ran decently in the Hobbs Ball Classic 2 back at Zia. I'm going to give him a shot on the pick 5 ticket. But to recap my selections now for the 6 from Sunland, it's the Red Hedeman Mile. Going to take the 5 horse stand up guy. Give kudos to the 3 horse. He's a genius. Or we 5-3-2-6 super, 5-3 in the multi race. The co-featured 7th race now from Sunland. It is the Sunland Park Oaks. It's going for a purse of $250,000. Race for 3-year-old fillies. 7 horses are going 1,600 meters or a mile here in the Sunland Park Oaks, 1600 meters mile, whatever it's just said. I can't remember. Gonna take the 2 horse running and gunning as top selection. We're gonna go 2-4-5-3 in the superfecta. 2-4-5-3 super top selection. 2 horse running and gunning. This 3 big gun runner Steve Asmussen trains gets Juarez up in the saddle. He ran the horse most recently on the 19th of June at Sam Houston, a mile and allowance race non-2L, and he won by 4.5 lengths. And he had a dream trip from the inside. He stalked that day. He quickened up nicely, and at 60 cents a dollar with the Lasix on, he flew home clear. A very good run. Next logical step, stakes quality horse is not the world's deepest race. Drawn very well, has some forwardly pace. I think he can keep the momentum going for Asmussen, who's having a very good weekend so far. Two back, he ran an optional 100 Claimer Churchill 1 mile in late November, where he finished 8th by 19.5 lengths that day, and he just had nothing. He got outclassed by the other ones, and he just never really quickened up. It wasn't his day to win. Prior to the Indiana over the mile and out main special weight, this horse ran terrifically. Went by ahead that day, saw a good pace to close up into. He sat back early, and he forwardly scooped up the race. It was a very good run for this horse there. He's down in class, not down in class, but he's not in the world's toughest class here today. First time stakes quality horses, training well at Sam Houston. I'm going to give him a shot to possibly beat the Baffert horse, but the Baffert horse looks very nice. The 4 horse Mesa for Bob Baffert and Juan Hernandez is a 3 like game winner here. Seems like a horse that just ran yesterday, but it's been about 7 years now, it seems, since game winner has run for Baffert. But this horse, he started once in late January at Santa Anita, 6.5 in a main special weight, where the horse won by half a dozen that day, and he just kept going on the front end. He quickened up, and an all around easy race. Baffert, decent number of sprint to route, with Maldonado. They don't team up a lot, or, with Hernandez up today outside California, where they don't really team up as much. I think this horse could really find the winner's circle nicely. Quite a few bullet workouts. 9-5. Let's give him a shot here on this ticket. But to recount my selection for the 7th from Sunland, it's a Sunland Park Oaks. Going to take the 2 horse running and gunning. Give kudos to the 4 horse Mesa. 2-4-5-3 super. 2-4 in the multi race. The 8th event now from Sunland. It is the Pepper's Pride Stakes. It's going for a purse $90,000. Races for 3-year-old fillies, New Mexico breds. 11 horses are entered, but only 10 could go 1,600 meters or a mile in the Pepper's Pride. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 3 horse of Palo Samba. We're going to go 3-1-7-8 in the superfecta. 3-1-7-8 super. Top selection, 3 horse of Palo Samba. 3-year-old filly by uh 3-year-old filly by Burnster here. Valdez trains this one, gets Castro up in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing came on the 16th of January here at Sunland. 6 furlongs in this La Senora Stakes, and she finished second by a nose that day. She had a bit of a wide trip, but was dueling on the front end. She just missed late, but she ran her heart out, especially at 52-1. Coming to a longer trip today, I think should suit this horse well. His very good post draw. I think this horse could find the winner circle. Something that does scare me slightly is the jockey is 18-0 currently at this meeting, but I think they can change that. Ran 2 back at Zia, 5 furlongs in a lounge race, a non-2X, and he finished 6 by 4.5 lengths that day, and he was just at a wide trip, and he just wasn't staying that sprinting trip. It wasn't his day to win, and then the New Mexico Classic Lassie at Zia over the 6, finished 6 by 6 lengths, and again, not the best beginnings, and was just behind the able, never getting into it. Won on her sophomore effort, though, at Zia going 5.5 in a main special weight in November, went by a half a length from track and trip. She really took off clear. She's training quite nicely since the last race. I think going to a routing trip suits this horse well. I'll use this horse on the ticket. The 1 horse American Cherub going also for Gonzalez. Most recently won that Austin Yorter Stakes over the 6 here at Sunland in January by a nose that they having a good pace to close up into it. This horse flew home clear. Very good run. Prior to that, the New Mexico Classic Lassie at Zia over the 6. First start since midsummer. She needed the race. She finished 4th by 4.25 lengths that day, and she just was wide. She moved a little bit late, but like I said, she needed the race. She's training quite nicely since the last run. She goes up a lot with the longer trip. At 5-1, let's use this horse in the pick 5. But to recount my selections now for the 8th from Sunland, it is the Pepper's Pride. Gonna take this 3 horse of Palo Samba. Give kudos to the 1 horse American Cherub. 3-1-7-8 super. 3-1 in the multi race. Featured 9th race now from Sunland. It is the Sunland Park Derby. It's going for a $400,000 purse race for 3-year-olds here. 9 horses going 1,700 meters or a mile 16th here in the Sunland Derby. Going to take the number 9 horse Caldera as a top selection. We're going to go 9-4-8-6 in the superfecta. 9-4-8-6 super. Top selection 9 horse Caldera. 3-year-old colt by Liam's Map. D. Wayne Lucas trains Rafael Bejarano. gets the mount. They ran the horse most recently on the 17th of January at Oaklawn, a mile 16th in main special weight for 100 grand, and it was a success for this horse on the front end. Went 5.5 lengths. He stalked, took some, not fast fractions, not slow fractions either. He just rated along and he got the job done. A very good race with the blinkers on that day, keeping the headgear on, getting Bejarano up, coming to the next logical step, not the world's deepest stakes race. I think he could find the winner's circle first. He's been a, slowly improving horse, and he's improving at the right time, I think. He ran mid-December at Oaklawn, mile 16th in main special weight for 100,000. Coming to a round trip on his sophomore effort, I thought he ran good. He finished second by 2 lengths. He sat back early. He was a little bit wide, but he gained some ground. Not a bad race in defeat. And then prior to that, the 1st of November at Churchill, 6 furlongs in main special weight, finished 6 by 8.5 lengths that day. He didn't break so well, was wide, and I just don't think he's bred. He definitely is not bred for this 6 furlong trip. He's bred for a mile and the eighth, which he should probably see next start, maybe somewhere in the Midwest. But coming here, training well, and they improve a lot. 5-1. Let's give this horse a shot. Don't throw out the 4-horse getaway car for Bob Baffert and Juan Hernandez. This horse ran most recently in Los Alamitos Futurity at Los Al, mile 16th on the 14th of December, where he finished second by 3.5 lengths that day. And he was with them early on, setting the pace. He just kind of yielded before the wire. The winner of journalism just had the jump on him, but he got around the race course okay. He's a winner of twice. He won on debut in July at Del Mar going 5/8. Came back to win the best pal after that, after going 6. Since coming a longer trip, he's run okay. It's just, he's just been facing tough horses, a tough stablemate of Citizens Bull. He ran at disappointing fourth in the Brewers Cup Juvenile. He ran a disappointing second behind Citizens Bull. Well, not disappointing second behind Citizens Bull in the American Fair. He just ran an okay second. But again, he's just been getting beat by slightly better horses on the day. And shall I say, pedigree-wise also. Coming down class in New Mexico, training well. They want to find him to the Derby. I think this could be a logical step to his Derby appearance. Let's use him on the ticket. Even the 8-horse touchy for Wesley Ward and Joel Rosario. Wesley Ward, when I think of him, I think of horses sprinting on turf, and I think about the 2-year-olds. Not a lot of times you have his horses running in a Derby prep race, but this horse, he won 2 back in the main special, going 6.5 at Keeneland quite nicely in the dirt from a tracking trip. Came back to run the Turfway Preview in early January. We had a decent place. I like that Rosario actually went to Kentucky in early January to ride him. Coming here to a next logical step to a routing trip at not the world's toughest race. Another horse I would keep an eye on here. This is a very good race this year. So you can go a few ways in this one. So I think you should in the pick 5 because I know I am. But to recount my selection now for the 9th from Sunland, it's the Sunland Park Derby. Going to take the 9-horse Caldera, give kudos to the 4-horse Getaway Car and the 8-horse Touchy, 9486 Super, 948 in the multi race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5. Good luck, everybody.